I'd like to call to order the Townsend Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, October 25th, 2023 at 7:03 p.m. A roll call vote. James Gates present.
Kevin Smith present.
Pat Gemolo here.
This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Chairman's additions and or deletions. I don't have any. Chair report. It's I'm not gonna say it's been quiet because
Been quiet.
yeah, to an extent. Yeah, I don't have anything notable. At the last meeting, we did have it was a difficult meeting with the violation of being present for 158 Main Street, and it did get a little heated between two commissioners, and neither of them here. They are still on the commission, but yeah, we all need to listen to each other and be understanding. Staff report. Hi, Jessica.
Hello, everybody. Hey, how are you?
Thank you.
All right. From last meeting to this meeting, October 12th to the 25th, I signed off on a building permit for 3 Saunders Road. We also have 8 West Elm Street and 81 Turnpike in for building permit applications, both of which actually are going to need conservation approvals. So I am working with them on the side, and they should have some RDAs in for review in the next meeting or two. I did a couple of referrals on your behalf for the Board of Selectmen for class 1, 2, and 3 licenses for common victualler and for the entertainment licenses. There were no Board of Health septic sign-offs. We issued the certificate of compliance for 50 Highland Street after last meeting, and the applicant came and picked that up. And then also provided me with successful recording information the other day. We have a few applications in, request for COC for 27 Scales Lane. We are still awaiting additional information from them from early August. We have a request for COC for West Meadow Road, which I think was permitted as Lockbrook Run Estates from a while back. There was a site visit the other day for that, and that's on your agenda for tonight. We just got in a request for a COC for 549 Main Street, which was an NOI earlier this year for a septic. That will be on the next agenda. We have an RDA for 81 Turnpike that was submitted the other day and should be on the November agenda. And then still awaiting some additional information, but we do also have an RDA coming in for 8 West Elm Street. Miscellaneous happenings, the enforcement order for 158 Main Street. I issued a notice of order revocation, I guess, after the last meeting formally. So now all they have is enforcement order compliance. So that's just ongoing. Last couple weeks, I made a few compliance inspections for orders of conditions to 82 Ball Road, 158 Fitchburg Road, the Squanicook River Rail Trail next phase, and 3 Wheeler Road. So that's that. And then just one other note I have to comment. There's a special town meeting on Tuesday, November 14th at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Jessica.
Jessica, have you, has, the Harbor Church come across the, permit? Link yet, or whatever it's called?
No.
Okay.
If it's just, I mean, conservation only gets assigned to certain types of permit applications. So there's one, Kevin even probably knows it better than I do, the application to demolish, renovate, build something and demolish, renovate something an existing dwelling is the title of the application. That is typically the one that if somebody submits it, that conservation gets sort of automatically assigned to review. But not every single type of building permit application is sent to us, like electrical permits, things like that. So
Okay.
if that's like purely interior stuff,
No,
it might not.
it involves excavation and a foundation, so,
Oh, okay. Nope, I have not
it
seen
was
it.
submitted a while ago, I was told.
Okay.
So, I'll ask Eric about it. Or when I see him tomorrow, if he knows anything, unless if you can ask Janet.
Okay. I mean, I can do a quick search in Permit Link right now, but that's 80 Main, right?
Old Harbor Church, really, Harbor Church, it's 80 Main. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you ask, Frank from Dillis and Roy to maybe hop on earlier than 8 o'clock?
I did not, because our first appointment is 7:15. The second appointment is 7:45. And then sort of assuming that second appointment might not show up. I gave him 8 o'clock instead of 8:15. But we have some other stuff to fill the gaps. I mean, if you want me to email him, I can, but I'm not sure if he'll check or not.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't mind just shooting him a quick email and asking him to come a little early, so he doesn't have to sit there and wait if he is ready. So. All right. And all your compliance checks were good?
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to figure out Permit Link.
You can
Client
do some
checks were,
questions.
yes, everything, yeah, there, no conservation, obvious conservation concerns at any of those.
Okay. So it's 7:12, we have a couple minutes before,
Judge is the chair down there, is it Dylan?
I don't know, I'd assume so.
See who's coming.
And but if they want to do it this fall, I'm sure there was,
So you're gonna dig the backside of it.
yeah, I guess they submitted that application a while ago,
Really?
so,
I'm looking at that one.
yeah, I don't know.
The clock's ticking.
Because Jessica gets an email every time someone submits something, it tags her. And
Yeah, every time we submit something, like, the marshal will do something like that. I'm surprised I almost slipped through
Yeah, I don't know. Well, there's other things that we haven't received, I guess, also. So we have 2 minutes. I'm gonna jump down to 4.1, notice of transmittal stormwater permit for 66 Bayberry Hill Road.
So my cousin Brett.
Yeah, but you're fine. I just have to read it. Please find attached the planning board notice of decision and permit number, SM 2023-03, a major stormwater management permit for construction of a shared driveway, serving 2 proposed residential dwellings and maintenance of the stormwater management system in perpetuity. Please share with the boards and committees. You just have to read it. Jessica, the person from NRWA, were they getting on Zoom for that? Huh.
Yep. I'm about to shoot her a quick email because I don't have any phone contact information.
Excuse me, we have a Marissa Browning Kamenis wanting to enter. Is she someone you know?
That's
Yes.
her. Yep.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
A little early, but we can start.
Close enough.
For me to share my screen?
Yeah, Hartley, can Marissa have screen sharing, please?
Sure, I'll take care of that right now. Hold on.
I think they turned my volume down just a little bit.
I tried last time and it didn't work.
Okay, the screen is now.
Probably turn it down a little bit, Kim.
Perfect, thank you. All right. All right. So my name is Marissa, and oh, sorry. You see that all right?
Yeah, no, we're trying to not become more deaf than we already are.
Gotcha. Yeah, so thanks for letting me join your meeting tonight. My name is Marissa, and I'm with the Natural River Watershed Association. I'm the Restoration and Land Program Associate with the NRWA. And we are currently engaged in a grant from the USDA that involves landscape scale restoration throughout the entire watershed. And so this is a general overview of the project. What we're really focused on is restoring riparian buffers along really any waterways within the watershed. We're focused on 200 feet out from the edge of the water, so encompassing that whole buffer. And what we're looking to do is plant native trees and shrubs. We're removing invasive plants, and then we're also trying to educate the public about the importance of these buffer zones. And so for the native planting specifically, we can work with both public and private landowners, really anyone who owns property along a waterway. But what we're focused on is folks who have a sparsely vegetated buffer, which we'd love to help plant with some of these native species. And we can provide the seedlings and the planting labor free of charge. So really all we're looking for is folks who are interested in engaging with the program and who would be willing to talk about the possibility of some native trees. And these are the species we have. They're pretty nice trees, I think, for landowners to have. Silky dogwoods have great habitat value with berries, and then you've got your maples and oaks as well. And this is just a quick overview of how we plant, just to demonstrate that it's a very low impact process. We just use this tool called the dibble bar that creates a really narrow gap in the soil, put the seedling right in, and then you close it right back up so there's no hole dug or any soil material removed, which is really great in these sensitive buffer zones. And then what we have been noticing is that agricultural land in particular can be a great candidate for this program, just because the fields can often lack a well-vegetated buffer. And then with your very common fertilizers or other, chemicals that are needed for agriculture, it can contribute to some runoff if there isn't that buffer. So we're particularly interested in reaching out to folks who live on agricultural properties and may be interested in participating as well. And then it comes with all the great benefits of carbon sequestration, improved wildlife habitat, and cooler water temperatures as well. And so we're coming to you tonight just to share a little bit about what we're doing at the NRWA And then just posing a general question, are any of the commissioners aware of properties along waterways that could benefit from some restoration? Sparsely vegetated areas, folks that are interested in native tree plantings. Really, we're just looking for suggestions, and then we'd be very happy to check out the sites with the property owner and talk about options, how many trees would fit on the site or how many they're comfortable with. And we're also willing to do invasive species removal, which would probably be attractive to some folks that have a bittersweet problem or are struggling with invasives on their property as well. As long as it's within that 200-foot buffer, we're very happy to help. So really that's it. It's a brief presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Are the Chinese bamboo becoming a problem in this area? I haven't seen too much of it, but it's starting to creep in along the wetlands and spots. I call it Chinese bamboo. I think there's a different term for it. You see all the waterways out in upstate New York. It's taken right over.
Yeah, I haven't heard of bamboo being a problem here. That doesn't mean it isn't, though. I know it can be pretty invasive. One of the species that we focus on mostly is bittersweet, oriental bittersweet. That tends to be everywhere and pretty aggressive. Japanese knotweed. You've got Japanese barberry, multiflora rose. Those are some of the really common ones in this area.
Oh, interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get 25 more minutes to fill.
Uh-oh.
What is that one that was up on West Meadow? That invasive that was in the water up there.
Phragmites.
Phragmites.
Yeah.
Do they help with the Phragmite removal?
That's an interesting question. I think it's something we could explore. I think what's tricky about that is it grows in waterways, and we're restoring the buffer zones of waterways.
Yeah.
Exactly, but it is a big problem. So I don't know. I think it could be explored.
So you're interested to go in 200 feet along the edge of the wetlands?
Yep. Yep, exactly. And ideally a place that really doesn't have much tree cover, but we can supplement if it's sparse that's there. So
Well, that's going to take a lot of land from the farmers.
yeah, well, what we've been seeing is we really just plant a single row of trees, and these are seedlings, so it actually is a very small footprint. It's just that's the kind of maximum area we would consider the riparian buffer.
Yep,
But it's usually
just above the high water line,
Mhm.
like a single row of trees down along the river's edge or brook's edge.
Mhm.
Well, not just the high water line, because the high water line goes,
Well, yeah, it's going to be.
you can use my field as an
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, and it's been a tricky year to do this too, just with the really intense high water events we've been having. We are seeing more washouts and erosion, so we try and account for that and where we put our trees, and that's part of the conversation with the landowner.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, keep us in mind if you come across any properties that seem like they could use some native plantings or invasive species removal, private or public. We'd be very happy to check it out and work with you or the landowner to see if there's anything we can do to help.
How are you trying to remediate the bittersweet? What are you using to?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Excavator.
Yeah, for this grant, we are restricted to just manual removal. So it's just cutting the stems and removing it from the trees. Understanding that, this may need to be a repeat endeavor. But the volunteers we've been working with have been really clearing a lot of ground, so they can make a good dent in it.
How do you dispose of it?
Yeah, the DPW departments have been really helpful. Some places like Pepperell have an actual spot for invasives at the transfer station. Others will just dispose of it, but bagged up so that it doesn't contaminate, the berries don't contaminate. So that's a conversation that we have to have for each site, but yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Do you have any sort of informational sheet that can be passed along to interested property owners?
Yeah, I can make one. I think that's a great idea. I can make one up and send it over to you this week. That would
With
be
contact
wonderful.
information and what
Yeah.
what you're trying to do, and because Mass Wildlife owns most of the, or a lot of the land along any of the waterways.
Yeah, our waterways in town.
Right, but then there's
Yeah.
other
You got
property
Forest and
owners.
Parks, you got Forest and Parks is a big one. Fish and Wildlife is a big one.
Yeah. But there are others.
Well, a lot of others are secluded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I can definitely send that over. It's a good idea.
Is that now? It's not just strictly agricultural land. It also includes residential.
Absolutely. Anyone who has a backyard that abuts any kind of waterway it needs to be significant enough to be mapped and contributes to the watershed. But it's a pretty large focus area. So really, like, folks that just would like some more trees in their yard and would be interested in doing it along a waterway, that would be a great fit. And it's free and we do it all. It's just been finding the folks to participate. That's actually been the challenge.
Have you had a lot of people that you've been able to help out? So since you got the grant?
Yeah, we've worked with quite a few folks and we're picking up steam, which is good. But we found this is a very well forested area. So in some ways, there are folks that are interested in participating, but maybe they don't qualify because the riparian buffer is actually, it looks pretty good. And that's why agricultural land can have it can be promising. We have been doing a lot of invasive species removal and we've been doing a lot of acreage for that. So that's been a big success.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if you could send us over an informational sheet with contact information and requirements for the project and anything that could be hung up or sent to people that have submitted applications, that we have their contact information, would be appreciated, and try to get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd appreciate that too. So I'll whip that up and send it over, but that sounds great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for spending the time and presenting to us, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Enjoy your evening.
Thanks, you too.
Tough thing to try to do,
It is.
especially when the farmer's just mowing right over.
But some people, I think it can be an advantage to some people, like you say, especially the people in the residential regions that,
Yes.
those berries have taken over. And I've seen it take over that on some jobs.
Oh, yeah, look at the hedge of field behind my
Kills
house.
the trees, yeah, it kills the trees, and I took a couple acres of that stuff of that before, probably more, 4 or 5. But I never had a problem with it after, but every once in a while I get the little bits and pieces that come in. I'm getting some now. But that bittersweet's terrible stuff. But that Chinese bamboo, that's the stuff that we're gonna have to look out for. That stuff is just decimating all upstate New York.
Have you seen any of that around here, Jessica?
A little bit of this.
Yeah, I don't know like where, like I've seen it in Massachusetts, but I don't know exactly where I've seen it.
It's in Townsend.
Okay. Yeah, I came up from Virginia and it was blowing up there
It's
just
everywhere.
in people's backyards because they plant it because it looks pretty and then it just takes off because it has that like shooting root system, whatever it's called.
It spreads with rhizomes, so even if you have it in a container, or I've removed it from a lined raised bed. It just is nasty.
It does, out by Travato's farm out in New York. It's taken all that upstate region, it's taken over all along the waterways. It's 100 feet wide spots. It'll be wider if they get there. It goes right up to the edge of the river, right up to the water's edge. It's so darn thick you can't climb through it. The stuff is just terrible.
Well, we have 15 minutes for our next appointment with Michael Morris from 61 Edward.
20 pounds down to
So we could do talk about 4.2 forest cutting
there
plan,
you go.
90 West Meadow Road.
Is that Fish and Wildlife?
No. Richard and Cheryl Botor, 90 West Meadow.
Okay.
So we don't vote on this, but it's just a
They got a pretty good size,
correspondence.
well, pretty good sized piece of property, right?
6 acres.
Oh, I thought it was more than that. Were they taking off just some timber?
2,400.
24,000.
Yeah, 24,000. Sorry. It's been a while since we've looked at one of these. So mostly white pine.
Yeah. No stream crossings.
Long-term harvest, there doesn't indicate any.
Yeah, it's just a
There's established,
just a selective cut plan.
yeah, so you should Pat too. There's established,
Yeah, roadways going right out in there.
yeah.
Those are all skid roads.
Just we established the old ones, but it's
Yeah,
not like
these
we
are
vote
all
on it or
existing.
anything.
Skid roads that were there. So they're just going around. Probably right down through and do a little bit more of a cut.
They just don't want all the trees in there,
Yeah,
or?
they're
Just
just
thinning
doing
it
a
out.
thinning. It's a selective cut. It's a forestry management plan is what it is.
Oh, okay,
It's pretty cut and dry. They're just
So
going into harvesting of the timber and it looks like just a few cords of wood. That's probably just stuff that's in their way. And,
now,
it's,
do they remove all that?
yeah, they'll take everything right out. Usually they chip it or they'll slash it down. I like the slashing it down idea better. It gives good cover for the rabbits and the small animals,
Mm-hmm,
that, you know, rather than the whole tree chip and then pulling everything out. And
right.
some people don't like that. I happen to prefer it, but.
Yeah, I wish we had done that, because I really like my rabbits to come.
Yeah, a lot of rabbits on it, but things like us, it's
thank you.
woodcock and other wildlife, and other birds, and
Yeah,
that they just don't have any cover with some of the practices that they use today.
right,
And it's all clean, and then they leave the few trees, and then that's a good place for the eagles and the red hawks to sit.
Had
Oh.
2 bald eagles in the harbor today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've been
Saw
getting
one.
hawks at my house, mother and babies coming.
You saw a juvenile bald eagle last week with the gray feathers and the white head.
I hate them birds.
What? Oh, they're like pigeons to me.
The hawks are terrible, they go after all my birds that I try to feed. They wait, it's like dinner time, they sit on my shed.
Take cats and little dogs.
Oh, yeah. Jessica, can we do the certificate of compliance for Phil?
Sure. I think so.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I don't know if you're supposed to like get through number 2 first before you move on, but
Well,
well.
we already
Go.
completed 4.
We can
That's
bounce-
true.
we can
Then go
bounce.
for it. Yeah, I emailed Frank, so hopefully he'll pop on soon. But
Okay, well, I wasn't able to get over to this because we were paving, so if you don't mind
um,
discussing
Yeah.
the history, because there is a bit of history to it.
so okay, I wasn't here for any of the history. I like to disclose that, so I might be wrong.
None of us were.
But I know. From my understanding, in like 2010-ish, maybe a little bit sooner, there was a pretty large condominium development planned for that corner of West Meadow Road, and it was extended multiple times, and then a new property owner bought the property in like 2018, 19 maybe. And at that point, the order that was issued back in 2010 or so expired. He let it expire. But the work, those attached condos were never built. And now he is building some single family homes, but the work he is currently doing, at least, is all outside of the wetland buffer. Some of the condos were planned inside the wetland buffer. So the work permitted under the old order of conditions never actually occurred. So to close out that permit, you can issue a COC and then just check. It's called the invalid box, which basically issues a COC but indicates that the work was actually never done. So that is what is sitting in front of you, is that form.
Okay. What you chose to do is a lot less impact on the property. What does that look?
So everything's stabilized up there. There's no worry regardless.
Not for conservation.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to issue the certificate of compliance for DEP 308-0552.
I'll make a motion to approve the certificate of compliance for Phil Colometta. And, where's the number on it? I don't see it yet.
Right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. 308-0552 DEP file number. And it was an old certificate of compliance.
You're good with that, what you just said there again?
Okay. Yeah.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We'll do a roll call. Vote, James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
And Pat Jamal, yes.
For the copies to sign tonight.
Mhm.
There's 3 of them there, Kevin. Did you get all 3? There's another one under that.
Oh, good one, huh? I did not get that, James. Thank you.
There should be 4, not 3. Okay.
4.
Thank you. Were you able to do a search on Harbor Church? Or did I?
No, I couldn't I couldn't find anything.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to search too, so I might just not be looking in the right spot. But I did not find anything.
Why is it closing it? I didn't know about that. I didn't know about any of it. Yeah. So. They're gonna, there's only 2 meetings left for the year after tonight.
Well, I have to get it done, right? An emergency session. I don't know what else you can do.
I don't
You
know.
gotta move forward as well as wants to do it, you know?
Right.
Especially for another day.
Jessica, do you want me to leave this in the folder or outside the folder in the box?
In the folder's fine. Just keep everything in one spot.
Still 5 more minutes, and then we'll have to
Yeah, we'll have to
15 more minutes. So 3.2.
You wanna, too long, what can I do? It'll be fairly quick.
What?
What can we do? It'll be fairly quick.
Update to the scope of work for 12 South Street.
Yeah. Give us
Jessica,
an update.
you had a correspondence with Jason, their engineer.
I did. Let me pull it up. Yeah, so the original scope of work was to do some sort of borings, upland piezometers. That's what they were doing, and yes, just a bunch of piezometers to try to figure out which way the groundwater was flowing on that property. And more, so you guys voted as a -3 determination at that time for that scope of work. And most recently, they are now also wanting to drill monitoring wells at the site as well, in some of the buffer areas. So they just communicated the new and improved scope to us. They're gonna use a geoprobe, drill a 2 to 3 inch borehole, and then install the PVC well. And then the wellheads will have a flush mount road cap. So I said I would pass this along, and provided you guys didn't see any significant difference in impacts or anything, and that it still sort of falls under your -3 determination, that I can issue a quick note to them. So.
Pat, this was for the deluxe property.
Yeah, down at the old Neb's building.
Right,
Down in
right.
There's the building.
Yep,
It would be the river, Main Street,
yep,
going out around behind the building. There was a retention pond and some other things that have been there for years. Behind the back parking lot, drainage went into it. Just right in here. What they're proposing is some monitoring wells, a series of them along the edge, both sides,
mhm,
and then a few random ones throughout the property. They're trying to determine the directional flow of water, whether it goes this way or right.
and
So,
so why do they need to know that? I mean, I don't.
Well, we met on the property.
Right, and I remember
Okay.
going to that, but I don't remember why.
They're trying to monitor where the groundwater is coming, how it travels through the property.
to travel in a point of direction. The only way they can find that is through
To putting those in.
a series of monitoring wells. So you can monitor the levels, the flow, or direction of flow, I should say.
Yeah, because I remember saying they had more water than usual because of all the rain we've had and stuff, but they,
Well, everything.
and they
is
think it's
elevated.
pretty deep. That's what I remember hearing them say.
This is, yeah, so this is to monitor which way the
Yeah.
groundwater is
But
moving, because was it the retention pond that tested high for PFAS? Yeah, retention pond tested high for PFAS, which also then dumped into the river.
Mhm.
So they need to monitor it and,
They want to get a clear understanding of whether it came from there or didn't come from there, or which direction it's going, and it's pretty standard procedure.
Is it, are they easy to put in? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, they
Okay.
just come in with that's probably just be a little truck mounted machine, because it's all sand and gravel, and
Mhm.
any place it'll be like a miniature version of the drill rigs that you see that would have drilled your well if you
Yeah.
didn't have town water.
Mhm.
I don't have any issue with,
No, I don't have any
No.
problem with it.
so. Jessica, we're gonna leave this one in your hands. We don't see a need to vote. I think it's all within the scope.
No need to take
Okay.
a vote, as I'm concerned.
Okay. 7:45, we have an appointment for 61 Edward Road, Michael Morse.
Is he with us?
He's not with us. Should I go ahead and read? Having to read. So, October 5th, a certified letter and a first-class letter was mailed to the property owner. And it reads, Mr. Morris, this letter is to inform you that your property of record located at 61 Edward Road encompassing parcels 33-53-1 and 33-53-2 is in violation of Townsend Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 138, and the Mass Wetlands Protection Act 310 CMR 10. Observations of various debris and litter items have been observed from public ways for multiple years. The commission is concerned that this litter can alter and obstruct the wetland resource area and its 100-foot buffer zone. It is important to know that most of Townsend's wetlands, including yours, are classified as outstanding resource waters and are also located in the Squanicisset, there you go, I just butchered something for you. Area of critical environmental concern. She makes fun of me every time I butcher a word.
I don't know that one either, to be fair, so don't worry.
Squanicook River, which is just across Route 119 dash Main Street, is where property drains to, is habitat for endangered species. As such, preserving characteristics of these natural resources is of vital importance. Several attempts have been made by town personnel over the past few years to contact you in order to assist, plan, and receive updates on the removal of debris. Very little response has been given on your behalf. We have discussed this issue at length at conservation meetings. The decision we have made is to set a deadline of November 12th, 2023 for all debris and litter on property to be removed from the wetlands and the hill slopes. These areas are to remain clear of debris. Should this deadline not be met, the commission reserves the right to take enforcement action and fine up to $300 per day in accordance with Townsend Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 138, Section 9, until you are compliant with this request. Conservation Commission will be discussing this matter in further detail at a regularly scheduled public meeting on Wednesday, October 25th, 2023, and your attendance is requested for a 7:45 appointment. Again, the certified letter was returned last week, whatever.
Wasn't there a hand delivered one as well?
At some point there was.
And it was received, and delivered and received, I understand. No,
Jessica? No?
I don't think anything was hand delivered, but that's,
No, but
I have sent something certified before and it got returned to me.
Mike
So that's why I
Crowley,
sent it twofold this time.
Mike Crowley had made contact with the property owner. Who's the lady for
Becky
the,
Morris, Community Services Coordinator, has met with him a couple times.
and offered to get a dumpster and removal services there to do this. And what was the response?
Like I'll get to it each
I wanted,
time. Like,
I want more, I want to, I
yeah,
don't know what I
he
want to
needs
keep.
more time. The first attempt that was made in early summer said that he would get it done in July. That never happened. And then most recently that he would get it done this fall, but that is still not happening. So anyway, just a status update for you guys. So November 12th was the deadline. So we'll see how it goes, but
There have been past commissions that haven't been able to make any headway on this also. I
it's been
know,
going along for about 5 or 8 years, hasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
at least.
At
If
least.
Jimmy was here tonight, he'd be yelling.
Mhm.
It's a thorn in all of our sides. It's a, terrible looking spot. And I
And
say,
everything runs down slope right into the wetlands.
yes.
I can see this end up going in court, he'll probably never pay.
He says that's not I don't know. I say we stick to our
But I
guns
mean, we
and
really need
We're gonna
to
have
get that
to
cleaned
now.
out, but
We're gonna have to now. It's been going on for years.
so,
Didn't one of somebody from the town, was it the past agent tried to, offer to even go down and help them? Is that
we've
my
all,
correct?
the community services director said that we have the funding or a grant that will pay to have this removed, all your stuff removed.
Yeah, no, that's
To
what I
help
say. He
you.
said, he's had every attempt in the world and multiple times of offerings to help them at, about zero
I don't know
cost
why
to
it's
him.
being like that.
So he's just, I guess we'll stick with
I
the
understand the,
November 12th deadline, as far as I'm concerned.
and I understand from what we've learned is there's limited mobility, but I'm not gonna keep pushing this along. I know there's only one meeting in November, and I'll make the motion that if it's not cleaned up by November 12th, that we impose, daily fine of $100, or even a weekly fine of $100.
Yeah, that's a lot more lenient than the $300 a day. So I'll second that.
Pat, do you have anything else you wanna add to it? I don't.
No?
can I get clarification? Because that was 100 per day and then 100 per
Sure.
week. So I need some clarification on that, please.
Let's discuss it.
Well,
That was a
if
fair
it was,
question.
if it was $100 a day, it might give them the incentive to get some help, especially when it's been offered to them at about zero cost. And somebody else paying the dumpster fee.
Yeah, and
So,
dumpsters
and-
aren't cheap right now.
And
No,
no,
they're
and the dumpsters is $700, $800 bill, so he had every opportunity to do his due diligence and just say, yeah, could you help me? I'd appreciate it. I think he's had plenty
It's
of
way,
time, whether he's, I feel bad for the man's mobility if he has some mobility issues. However, he's had every opportunity granted to him for the help at zero cost to him to just get it all cleaned up.
Without
And
making a
he's
big
been in
deal.
violation for, God only knows, what was it,
So-
5, 10 years?
$100 a day.
yeah, I agree with that.
$100 a day, yeah, you could be paying $300 a day, give him $100 a day fine and maybe that'll make him finally decide he wants to get rid of it, because after about 7 days of fines, that'll be the cost of the dumpster. And
So,
I don't wanna do it. I feel bad about doing it, but on the same token, the man has had years and multiple offers to help him from the town as a matter of fact, at one point, wasn't even the Boy Scouts that offered to go
I
down?
don't know.
At some point, did I get that right at one point? in the
I'm not
past years?
sure. I know there have been volunteers.
For, like you said, years.
Years, it's
Before
gone
my
on for
time.
years.
So, I will rescind my motion and make a new motion I make a motion that if the deadline is, we'll send a certified first-class mail letter will be sent, again, notifying that we have made the decision that if it is not done by November 12th, 2023, a $100 per day, fine will be issued.
But then I think you ought to have something, if after, say a week's time or 2 weeks' time, and he's still not, and he hasn't
We
paid
can,
everything,
we can,
then
we
you
can,
should up it to the 300. I
we can make a
mean,
motion at our next meeting.
Yeah, we can address.
We can address it at our regular
At
meetings and just get an update on what's going on. And,
Okay.
maybe we'll do something with him if he shows good faith and get some people in there and gets the thing taken care of.
Okay.
We can always do that, but I think that's a discussion for another time. I'll second your motion to charge him $100 a day.
Roll call vote, James Gates, yes.
Kevin, yes,
Pat, yes.
as much as I don't want
I,
him, it's,
All right, I will draft a letter on your behalf tomorrow and try to send it out tomorrow, I guess, just to maximize his opportunity.
and I can sign it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Good goal then. Great.
So-
Sorry, Frank. They told me to bug you, and it's still just about 8 o'clock. So
Sorry, Jess, I didn't see your email until about 10 minutes ago.
it's fine.
It,
8
we
o'clock.
appreciate
Don't worry.
you, put on.
I'm gonna step out.
Kevin's gonna step out, so just give him a second.
Not a problem.
Thank you, sir.
Frank, thank you for joining us. Thanks from Bills and Roy, he's representing Terry McGee with 158 Main Street.
Yeah.
If you don't mind just giving us an update on everything, that, the
Certainly,
enforcement side of
James.
things, and then also how you're working on the plan, or your progress on the plan, sorry.
Yes, my understanding as far as the site goes right now, it's fairly stable. There haven't been any issues out there since Jim Latanzi had done the work under the enforcement order, which was done, I want to say the Friday after the last meeting. I don't know if anyone from the commission has been out to see that or been even notified about it, but that I believe was the end of the work along the berm, just to re-stabilize that. That's all complete. As far as plans going forward for a final fully stabilized design, I reviewed plans with Dr. McGee yesterday. He's on board and understands what I'm proposing. I have a grass swale designed based on the design standards from NRCS and USDA from Dan
Lenthal.
Lenthal. Thank you very much. I knew it had an L, and I was going with The wrong one. So, based on the information received from Dan Lenthal, I've designed essentially a 6 foot wide grass swale. It's going to have a stone invert for stability. The side slopes are going to be grassed. There is going to be a stabilized farm access across the swale so that he'll have somewhere where he can drive across and get to each side of the property. The stockpile of existing wetlands material that was excavated out of the swale area will be reused on site to help construct this. That I'll be pulling together a package to submit to the Conservation Commission as an agriculture package. Dr. McGee has provided me with a good bit of information backing up, paperwork backing up that this is an ongoing agriculture use at the property. Both to kind of cover the Commission's concerns about documenting that, as well as documentation for the state.
Well, part of that, you should also make sure that you have historic aerial photographs.
We have those, yes, and I will include that. It's very obviously farmed for a long time, so those will be in the package, and that'll be part of the documentation. So I'll be submitting something to conservation, to NRCS, and to kind of a supplemental submission for the 401 water quality. After I talk to Kim Roth from DEP and see how she wants it handled with the submission that we have before her. I know ideally she wanted things handled in Townsend as much as possible. So she just might want to be informed. She was going to be my next communication tomorrow. I was going to reach out to her. So I would expect to have something into you in November. It wasn't going to be possible for me to meet your deadlines for your November meeting, but you'll have a package well in advance of your December meeting, and hopefully we'll be able to get that wrapped up. I'm assured by Jim Latanzi, based on the work that he's done and what he's seen out there, that the site is stable for the winter. But that's always storm dependent, so we'll be keeping an eye on it and making sure that there's no issues between now and when work can be done.
Is there a ongoing plan or let me reword that. What is the plan on if we do have a heavy rain forecasted? I know Courtney had sent us along observation photos from this past weekend, and it does look like the water is pretty high on that second berm. Is there a dewatering plan in place if there is an excess amount of water, or what is the
Not currently, but I can I can have that prepared as part of this package. Definitely.
I think, at least for, and that's something that you don't even have to include as part of the package. If you were able to submit that before the next meeting, so we have it in writing, just as part of the enforcement side of things.
Certainly.
That would be the best. And I think communicating with Latanzi and Terry McGee about that plan and making sure that they're both on the same page on how however you want to implement it.
Yes.
so that we don't have, an issue throughout the winter, because you just never know if we're gonna have those heavy wet snowstorms like we did in March, where we had 6 inches of water underneath 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, that's the kind of storm that I'm worried about.
Yeah, we had 2 of them back to back.
They were, I had on a couple of other sites, they were just open construction sites, and it was, I'm still dealing with those as well. So definitely, I'll work out a plan and make sure that Dr. McGee is on board.
Okay. Yeah.
And your next meeting, yeah, I think I heard November 12th.
No, the
Or
8th,
13th?
not the 8th. No, that was actually something else. It is the 8th. Yep.
Oh, it is the 8th. Okay. Sure. I'll work to have something pulled together for that by the middle of next week, and then and make sure you have that paperwork.
Yeah, and get Latanzi's input on it, and maybe even NCRS's or NRCS input on it, and so that everyone's on the same page, and I think having a representative from soil conservation present at the meeting in December would be beneficial.
Okay. I will see what I can do to arrange that.
Jessica, or I can ask Pat. Pat, do you have anything you want to add? Questions for Frank? Concerns?
No, I have a concern with the winter, and I don't know how much preparation you can do to try to, stop all this other stuff that might come up with, if we do get the extra rain or anything. Is there extra steps you can take for that?
We can make sure that that the sediment behind the check dams is cleaned out so that there's capacity there. And then it turns into a matter of
I don't think there's any more sediment to move.
right. Agreed. Hopefully.
But I know that's part of it, and it's the reality of it. And it was apparent. We went out there with Eric Slagle, the town admin, last week to just look over the site and so to keep him up to date because it's been going on for so long. So yeah, it's cleaned out, but there's not much more for it to be moved.
No, there is not. It might be helpful to have potentially a stockpile of straw wattles or something on site in case something needs to be placed on an emergency basis, that kind of thing, as well as a possible pumping plan.
Yeah, I haven't been out there since this past weekend, but just by the photos, it was up there, but I'm sure it's gone down.
No, I'll need to ask Courtney for those photos. It would have been nice to see those beforehand.
I'll send them over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jessica, your turn.
No, I think the plan's okay. It's not on me to make this design. So, but yes, if you're getting many blessings from other agencies, then that's positive.
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right, did I miss it? Are there plantings proposed? Like what? Like we don't need to plan it right now, but
Yep.
just know that there was all of this started because of the stripping of vegetation over
Yes.
500
Yes.
feet long by 25 feet wide. So, you're supposed to restore what you messed up. So if if we're just replanting grass, that's not totally in the spirit of restoration.
Correct. So the swale itself is to be planted with the kind of a standard New England wetland seed mix. But we have the planting. I haven't removed the plantings that Stan had originally proposed down at the bottom of the swale, at the bottom of the restoration area, closer to the rail tracks.
Okay.
It's gonna be nice this weekend, and it'd be great if we could get some, something done, planting or whatever, with the warmer weather to try to.
Well, that would be a little premature, Pat. Thank you, James. I just got the email. That would be a little premature right now to plant because the construction of the swale is going to involve basically engineering a trapezoidal shape from basically from the dentist property down the eroded path of the swale. So if we did any kind of plantings, they would pretty much get torn up once construction started. So any kind of volunteer planting that's out there right now is probably the most stable option for the time being.
So there won't be any planting till spring then.
Correct. Plantings would end up being the last thing that happens once the swale is constructed. So they'll build the shape of the swale, put down erosion control matting, and then over top of that put the New England wetland seed mix, and then outside of the swale area itself, put in the proposed shrubby, and I think Stan had some tree plantings there as well.
Okay.
Jessica, you good with that? What we've discussed and busted for the next meeting?
Yeah, that works. December 13th is the December meeting. But end of November is Thanksgiving, obviously. So just, thinking about submitting to DEP and trying to get a file number and review and everything. So
Right,
the sooner
yeah,
the better.
That's going to be the biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The file number. So my plan is more or less done. I've got to pull together some of the paperwork. So I don't anticipate much more than a couple of weeks to have a package pulled together.
Prior to that, he's gonna get us the
And correct,
ongoing maintenance plan.
correct.
So I'm good with that, Frank. I appreciate you stepping on early and we had to wait and talking to us.
Nope, I appreciate the time as well. I'd rather be kind of not leaving you guys in the dark on this. So
It's a very sensitive issue, so.
Yeah, thank you.
absolutely, thank you very much, and I will be in touch.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Pat, do you mind getting Kevin while I finish sorting this stuff out, please? Oh, here it comes.
Just one going on.
See if we can flip through this now. Ready to talk about budget, Jessica?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, you are, because I'm not.
I mean, are you ever? Is anybody ever really? Those.
So this is expenditure ledger for the last 2 or 3 years there. There's 2 sets.
Oh, okay.
And then here's this. Expense control report and then the ledger history. It's enough to make us all confused. And there's a set for Pat and here's a set for Kevin.
Okay.
Don't
It's like the
worry.
same as Medicare in here, so it's confusing.
Well, we need a wider table. I don't even know where to start. We have to figure out, what we need extra funding for, how we want to approach it. Jessica, can you have it? Can you help us along with this?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll just sum it up. I don't have to go through every line item, but
No.
as you can see, the budget is quite tight from year to year. It doesn't change significantly at all, either from year to year. About, 90, I don't know percentages, but like high 90s operating costs that we are given, that Conscom is given annually. High 90s goes to staff salary. And then you have a tiny teensy bit left for other general operating costs, such as memberships and dues, a little bit of mileage reimbursement, clothing budget, office supply budget. But even something like our membership and dues budget is, I think, $500 annually. The MACC annual due is like 450 or something. So right there, in a matter of minutes, you pretty much wipe out your whole year budget of professional affiliation dues.
Right, and we don't have the ability to become part of other organizations.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so we just have an extremely limited budget. One of the ways we are trying to combat that is through the raising of our application fees, which was done a couple months ago. But still, that's it'll add up, but every single application going from $40 to $50 doesn't really make a huge dent. So otherwise, yeah, if we have some really good solid ideas, we don't need to do everything at once, but even just make sort of a 5-year plan of some larger expenses or goals that the commission wants in the next 5 years to sort of do a productive budget. You can ask for those as capital expenses when we do submit the budget request.
Well, that's for the larger ticket items.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I'm not going to try to do a stupid metaphor, but if your budget for office supplies is $500 and you are looking back at the past 3 years, continuously spending, between $400 and $425, the people who are calling the budget shots, the FinCom says, oh, perfect, 500 is just plenty. They never exceed that. So that's what we'll give them again.
Pulling money from land use. You just bought a printer cartridge at what, $300?
Something like that. Yeah. So like that's like half the budget right there is an ink cartridge. So yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you don't want to go out and just frivolously spend your $500 on paper clips and staples either, just so that you don't lose the money in the future. So
Well, I guess one of the things we bought an iPad, or we put in for an iPad,
Yeah.
and one of the things that, I don't want to use the word annoys me, but bugs me was we don't utilize it. And it sat there, I don't even know if the battery's any good because it sat there plugged in for however long. It took forever to just buy the frickin' thing. We bought a refurbished one without a case. So I wouldn't want to take it out on site, but it was bought to utilize and for site visits and taking pictures and having everything in one spot on the cloud. So, and it's nothing to do with Jessica, but it's one of those things that use it or lose it. We didn't even use the whole thing, and now we're stuck with something that we don't even have a salt plan on. We don't have a case to use. I don't even know where the iPad is. So we have to be, we just have to pay attention to it, but in the same breath, we're eating up our budget for postage, sending certified letters at what, $8 a whack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$8.53 for a single page letter.
So, like, we have no way to print, no budget to print stuff, and I'm sure we can use, what is it? Office supplies, is it? But $500 doesn't get you very far if you want to do a direct mailer. And we talked about trying to educate the public more on things, like bamboo or like, the NRWA stuff, and we just don't have the funding to do it. Talked about doing something at Earth Day last year, and besides no one being interested, how are we gonna represent ourselves if we don't even have any?
Yeah, any funds to do it. Well, maybe what we gotta do is we gotta try to figure something out. We gotta go before the selectmen.
And it's before they're asking us to do any of the budgetary stuff, but, is the answer just to have a general fund?
I think that's what we should ask for.
And
See if they can find, some money so we can have a general fund in case something happens and for things like Earth Day, things like a lot of different things that we could probably use it on, but you're sitting here trying to, that's a pretty meager budget for, 90.
for the headwaters of,
No, I know.
something, a rather important area, and that's the one thing that we're very lucky to live where we live. But the choices and decisions that were made 20, 30, 40 years ago to put us in, EC, this and that. It really,
The headwaters of the Swanford River.
yeah, no one's thought this far ahead of how are we gonna pay for this? So now we're left trying to figure it out. Have enforcements, you can't enforce every little thing, but,
Nor should you, but however, when, you don't have any funds, that like you say, it's $8. What is it now? Send a single page letter, 8.5?
Be a certified mail. Yeah.
and then, first class mail, that's gonna be 60 cents or something.
You can't get,
63. Yep.
Yeah.
you can't get, our budget's just, we're running on a 1980s budget. Everybody's been conservative on the boards for many years. We're trying to be conservative, but it's just, it's not there. Hell, at this rate, we'll be taking up donations to stay in business here.
That's about what we're at.
You know?
We have, conservation properties that we don't have the bounds marked. People can hunt them because they're allowed to, but,
Nobody
If you're
knows
not-
where anything is.
right. But there's also conservation lands that haven't been maintained. And we don't have the manpower,
No,
or the funding to hire someone to do that.
I don't know. It's like when Mr. Shank was in just a few weeks back. You know, I think it was brought up then.
It was, and we're trying to,
And I think that we're gonna have to, I think we're gonna have to get up to the 2023 somehow. It's, we're not talking about a lot of money. It's not like we're talking about, $1 million here. You know, Couple $1,000 go a long way. You know,
So
we
they-
can create a fund, like you say, maybe the general fund, maybe we need to talk to the selectmen or talk to, finance and see, we're gonna talk to somebody and find out how the best way to approach it would be. Either, establish a general fund or,
To make it easier for everything to
or,
come out of, you know, it's
or
keep track
go
of.
before the powers to be, the Board of Selectmen, and see if we can get a higher budget. You can, I'm surprised that the commission has been able to run on that budget, period. I mean, I'm not the smartest light bulb, I'm just a poor dumb farmer, I don't claim to be much more than that, but 1 and 1 is still 2. And the cost of doing business isn't what it was.
no.
You know, we're lucky looking at this now that we've been able to get this far, really.
Right. And it would be, I know, I know we have grant opportunities to pay for some stuff, but there's still certain things
It's
that.
way out there, though. The grants are always way out
Right.
there. You know,
Well, I mean, we can't get a grant for like $500 to do a
well, that's what I'm
single
saying.
page mailer. Like,
And they're way out
A
there.
single page mailer realistically didn't you do a direct mailer for something?
I did a mail insert in the tax bills.
And wasn't that,
It was this 8.5 by 11, all black and white, and just to be like an insert in the tax bill, I think it was like almost $700.
Holy macros.
and that's really, we need to do, I think,
Well, if we're gonna get out to the people, reach out to the people, or the taxpayers, I should say, in our town, I don't know any better way to do it. Because, I mean, God only knows when my tax bills come in, they fill my mailbox, but everybody's gonna get a tax bill. Everybody's gonna get one. They got something to read, and it's informative to them.
Because my mortgage went up, with the taxes and stuff,
It is what it is. I think it's a perfect way to let the residents or taxpayers know what's going on.
so I think doing it out of a general fund versus a
Can we
line
do
item
it?
expense.
Can we do it?
Right.
I don't know. I think I think we should, go to the selectmen now, I'll go to the, finance committee, ask the question to somebody on finance. Or ask the selectmen,
Joe's our liaison, so he'd
Yeah.
be able to guide us,
we should,
and
and he understands, we've talked to him briefly when he was at our meeting, so, I think maybe we should just try to put something together and give it to him and let him, discuss it at the meeting and maybe send it over to the finance committee and maybe we can get some money appropriated if we can have a general fund for conservation. If not, they, try to get some more money appropriated in
So-
the year.
one of the ideas I had is out of that general fund, if we aim high, meet in the middle, and say we don't use it the entirety at the end of the year, see if we can then transfer it to a capital expense fund that can grow if we don't. You know, so
That
it's
would
still
be-
available
that
to
would-
us.
That would be a wonderful idea if
Hmm.
it's possible.
Instead of being
I'm
turned
not
back.
sure how that works. And like I say, I think we have to look into that further, but, yeah, I mean, it's not like we're looking for a lot. We're looking for enough to survive and, let the taxpayers or the residents of the town, know we're all about the road. We're not out to hurt them. We're out to help them and make them aware of some of the things that they should know, so they don't go out and do something that is gonna get them in trouble later on down the road. You know, they wanna be
Yeah.
proactive, and I think that's a good way to be proactive. A simple mailer in somebody's tax bill, you know, they're gonna get it, to get the tax
Right.
bill.
I know, but that's the cost of it. I know Jessica was talking about
Well,
that.
it's,
know,
how
put it
else you
in
gonna
there.
get it out there? Is it, you know, you're gonna put it on the website? I mean, some of the stuff's on you know, they put it on the town website anyway. A lot of people don't look at the town website. Only time they look at the town
And
website, they
some of
wanna know
them
if the
don't even
trash,
have computers.
if the trash has been rescheduled, you know? And some of them don't have a computer. I don't know how to turn one on, but,
Seniors don't.
you know, I own a bunch of them. But,
Do we have a printer and all that? I mean, I know that downstairs, they have it, but
Usually you have a service do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I mean,
it's
but that
stuffed into the bills.
cost-
That cost was stuffed into the bills, right?
I think so,
You didn't-
yeah.
You didn't fold them.
Right, no, sorry, no, I did not, no, I just typed what I wanted and sent
Yeah,
it
but-
off,
yeah,
and
but-
somebody else did it.
some of the people that
They-
work
They use
downtown,
them.
there's people that come into town, and help with that during, to put stuff up and just
Yeah.
send the mailers out, the tax bills out. You know, some people in town, you can get a few dollars off your tax bill if you help
yeah,
out
that they
in the
said
town.
that,
And
yes.
that's what they do.
So maybe we should do, instead of sending it
Well, I
out,
think if
because
we-
that's more expensive than if I
well,
think
if
we
we-
got
If
one.
we could get them printed or put it together in-house somehow. And then when the quarterly tax bills went out, if we wanted to give somebody an annual, do an annual update or something like that, or, send one out a year.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if we're able to send anything out with, like the water bills. It doesn't get to everyone, but it still gets.
It only gets to people with town water. If you send the tax bill out, you're gonna get to everybody, Jimmy.
Yep, you're right.
You're only gonna have half the people. Does town even have that? About half the town has water.
Yeah, because it's all Timberley and that's a good,
Yeah, but I think,
what's a third of the town, isn't it?
well, I think about half the town per capita has town water.
We have town water.
So and that's just an example.
Yeah,
In my
no.
opinion.
The tax bills,
But if we
tax
can,
bills are the way to get it out to everybody,
yeah, if we can
in
even
my
do
opinion.
classes and not have to
Something.
apply for a grant to do it.
Do something that we're not, like you say, applying for grant money's great. But you're not
Even
gonna get a
hiring
grant,
someone-
but you're not gonna get a grant for $500 bill.
Right. But even hiring someone to go and maintain some of these properties,
Something, but it surely would be good.
so. But then if whatever we do, I feel that we wanna structure it in a way where we don't lose that
No,
the available funds.
no,
At the turn of the
I
fiscal year.
certainly agree, let it transfer into a capital account or something, I don't know. I mean, that's like I say, I think this certainly, some of the people upstairs in this office, would have an answer for that, if they can help us.
Yeah.
Because we're running by the skin of our teeth here, people. I'm surprised we get along as far as we do. Okay.
So those copies are for you guys. Jessica, I don't think do you have anything to add?
Just that I am told that early next month, early November, the formal fiscal year 25 budget request memo will be issued. So probably will be at your early December meeting, my guess, really finalizing the
Okay.
budget requests. So if you want, in the meantime, at least over the next month to
December.
December, okay.
So that's fine. I can reach out to Joe. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. Just start thinking about some of these other projects that you want, and if just poke around. Just go on Staples website or something, see how much like a 3x8 or whatever little brochure memo thing would cost, and I don't know, just to get an idea too, because that's the first question.
She's conservation. She's land use.
Oh.
Everything she's doing for us right now is.
She needs more money.
It's all pro bono. Just kidding. But anyway, so just start thinking about it. I know you guys have a lot of great ideas too. So the first question is going to be, how much does it cost? So if you don't have anything, then you're not going to be taken seriously. So just come prepared.
I think just establishing a general fund, because if we're going to line item everything, do you have the patience for any of that? Because it's just foolish, but seeing if it's possible, and I'm going to assume it's possible, it's just a matter of convincing the powers that be to go with it, is whatever doesn't get used in the general fund is then transferred into a capital expense fund that can be utilized either buying land or large projects.
Something to draw on.
Yeah.
We got nothing to draw on. You got nothing.
And not have to wait until town meeting or special town meeting, or to, go have it blessed.
Okay. So I will, I'm going to talk to Allison, who's our grants administrator. She's very part-time, just letting you know. But if she can just look out, if there's any sort of public education, environmental outreach type grants, I think that'd be at least a really helpful start, because that's probably assuming that they'd be, in the vicinity of $5,000. But if not, just start
anything.
Anything.
Literally anything. Yeah. But
we had a grant come out in front of us that it was last minute, but it would have funded marking the bounds on conservation owned properties, and we couldn't apply for it because we didn't have the time or the.
Do you remember when that was?
I think August, maybe July. I'm sorry I interrupted you again.
No, I'm just I can go back and try to look for it.
All conservation grants. If we get ahead of it and know about it, we can say yes. Let's go after this. Knowing that
girl can help us.
but it's a matter of if we get the grant, then following through.
To get the girl to apply for the grant.
Right.
Because there is something out there somewhere along the line.
There's tons of money out there. There's a ton of it.
So, just another one, just, being super cost sensitive too. Like, you could, if you get $1,000 approved for a general fund, maybe put your fiscal year $25,000 toward actually printing handouts, and then put your fiscal year $26,000 toward mailing out those handouts. And I don't know.
I'm going 5 to 10 grand.
Yeah, it's,
I'm not gonna just tiptoe
Thousand-
into this.
yeah,
5 or 10
1,000
grand and then
bucks
let us, put it into a general, capital expense fund.
I know. I'll
And
support you
no-
guys. I know.
We're pretty conservative people here. You're looking at a couple of pretty conservative people. But looking at what I can see, $1,000 ain't gonna do
You turn around,
it. Try for what we can get.
Kevin, when you go to the dealership for something,
Fine.
when was the last time you spent less than $1,000?
I can't spend less than 100,000. I gotta do something that's 100, it's 200, it's nothing, it's nothing. It makes me sick to my stomach, but it's what it is. That's why I
You
say.
do anything around your house, it's $1,000 if you're lucky.
No, you're right, you're right.
And I appreciate your input, your
I-
side of it, Jessica.
But I look at.
I know. I don't want to
these
sound like total cheapskate frugal, but
Oh, no, your age.
I'm
is
around these
talking.
numbers a lot more.
That's the cheaps, that's your age talking.
You look at the numbers, there's nothing, we don't have enough money to barely operate. How does the commission even operate? I don't get it, it's, boy, they're right skimping.
well, I mean, it's just like you just like you're saying, Kevin, the hourly rate for the conservation agent. It's like, who would want that? So,
We love you, Jessica.
Well, no, that's the truth, and
I had the plumber come to the house, and just to walk in the house, it was automatic $500. And that
Like you say, Jimmy
that
Gray
didn't
can't
include
do nothing with
anything.
$1,000.
So it was 1,000 by the time I finished.
Yeah.
You're right. It's, you have to go with more
We
because
gotta get a budget.
you could
that's
probably
some-
need,
we gotta get
stamps,
enough money
paper.
somewhere
But
that
we
we
can't-
can operate and do some things like simply like running out and blazing some of these lines.
And part of it is have a very small commission. We all are busy and we need to be able to hire people to do
And
certain.
everybody's trying to give freely of their time. And it's difficult sometimes
So,
when we're in the hayfield and you got a meeting, or we're tied up on a job somewhere and we got a problem and it's 6:30 and 7:15, 7, and we're dragging our butts in here. But it is what it is.
so
All good.
I'm willing to fight tooth and nail on, asking for some real money here. And I'm not gonna sit there and pick and choose of, we want $1,000 for this,
That's
$2,000 for this.
Yeah, it's,
Set it up right and set it up,
let's see if the town can find it for us. That's all, I'm surprised this board has gone on that short a budget,
I just don't like line items. I think it's just so much easier to do it.
But we also, it is checks and balances in place, so we don't really keep going back and forth. It's
No.
in 9:15, I haven't been really home yet, so.
No, well, neither have I. Well, I did go for a few minutes,
So, the MACC 2023 Fall Conference is this Saturday at Devon's.
can't make it.
But I projects I have to finish. I don't know if you're interested in going. You can sign up on their website. But it's all day. They serve lunch. We pay for it.
Is that at Devon's?
Yes. It's all day Saturday.
Next meeting.
Items for the discussion next meeting. Hopefully we could close out the COC for 549 Main Street, possibly talking the RDA for West Elm and 81 Turnpike Road, RDA, which there's a site visit next Thursday at 10.
yes. Yep.
Who's the owner
They're doing a little porch. They're gonna shrink the deck, make a mudroom, and
Who's the owner?
Also,
who's doing it? I have no
I
idea.
don't know who's the owner.
I don't remember.
Oh,
you said we have the site visit?
Site visit
I was writing down. Okay,
next Thursday,
Thursday.
the 2nd of November at 10 a.m. at 81 Turnpike.
Okay,
Stop that.
I mean,
I'm so tired. Sorry.
okay, I'll be there.
Other things, the appointment for 187 Pierce was asked to push till next week, next meeting.
Oh,
What's it?
yeah.
180, yeah, 187 Pierce.
well, they could just moved it, just to sign off.
Huh?
Just a file.
No. There's mitigation that never got done.
Oh,
Significant mitigation that never got done.
right. That should
That
not.
was Gordon.
Oh,
That was Gary Gordon.
okay.
Accusing the applicant though. He had
I don't know if you want that one.
the property owner.
Yeah, they're gonna come in, they're gonna come in and, see if we can help them get that resolved. To be honest.
They were receptive to my appointment letter, so that was good. I'll follow up with them and just remind them, but I do expect that they will show. But yeah, Kevin, next time you're at town hall, just pop upstairs and I can give you a little rundown too.
Okay,
What else? There was something else for next meeting though. I already started drafting the agenda. Hold on, sorry. Oh, I don't know. You guys need to get caught up on some meeting minutes for next meeting. Definitely the September 13th minutes. If someone would like to take those on, I can send you all the stuff that you need to do them.
Mean to type it out? Or, I'm not really sure.
Yes, to write the meeting minutes, yeah, for the September 13th meeting.
What you do is you
I-
just take the agenda and just type in what is said and the motions and
I will attempt that.
thank you.
thank you,
Okay.
Pat.
I will email you tomorrow, Pat,
Okay,
just like a template from an old meeting minutes that you can follow and the video recording and everything. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Was that the thing did you pull up the agenda you've been working on?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Next meeting is Wednesday, November 8th, 2023, 7 PM, Board of Select Chambers, second floor. Meeting will be held virtual Zoom remote in accordance with COVID-19 safety guidelines. I know people are out there listening. We have 2 open positions on the commission. If anyone's remotely interested,
Come on in.
filling out the volunteer request form. We'll get things started. Need a motion to adjourn at 8:46 and a second, please.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting of 10/25/23 at 8:47 PM.
I'll second that.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Pat Gemma, yes.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, everyone.